Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Trividam Narakashyedam Dwaramam Nashanam Atmanaha Kamakroda Sata Lobas Tasmat Etam Trayam Chajet. Trividam Narakashyedam Dwaranam Nashanam Atmanaha Trividam Narakashyedam Dwaranam Nashanam Atmanaha Kama Krodha Sata Lobas Kama Krodhas Tatalobas Kama Krodhas Tatalobas Tasmat Etat Trayam Tyajet Tasmat Etam Trayam Tyajet It's like that then. You can imagine shades at night when she rang you, you know. You know what I mean? It'll start there. You know, shook her head across one and said, what a sorry lot, you know. Okay. But if you keep practicing, you get strong at it, that's all. That's good. Anyway, Trividam of three kinds. Narakasya of hell. Idam this. Dwaram gate. Nashanam destructive. Atmanaha of the self. Kamaha lust. Krodhaha anger. Tata as well as Lobaha greed. Tasmat therefore Etat these. Trayam three. Tyajet one must give up. There are three gates leading to hell: lust, anger and greed. Every sane man should give these up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. Response, please. There are three gates leading to hell: lust, anger and greed. Every sane man should give these up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. The beginning of demoniac life is described herein. One tries to satisfy his lust, and when he cannot, anger arises, and then greed arises. A sane man who does not want to glide down to the species of demoniac life must try to give up these three enemies, which can kill the self to such an extent that there will be no possibility of liberation from this material entanglement. Om Yam Mirambasya Yananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jayana Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manabhisam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swagatantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sya Shri Rupam Savrijatam Sahagana Varunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Pavijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So these are three things which, the 6 bad qualities. Does anybody know what they are? 6 bad qualities.
6 bad qualities.
These are 3 of them. What's the other? Envy. Envy is another one.
It's anger,
Eh?
It's anger. Did you read anger?
Lust, anger and greed. There's 3 of them.
Anger,
And then there's envy.
lust.
False prestige?
Eh?
Is it false prestige?
False prestige, pride, yeah.
Is it harsh treatment?
Pride, sometimes they call pride madness, mada. And last one is illusion. Illusion's the cause of all the others. Because it says, if we think with the body, we're in illusion. And if we think with the body, we'll try to serve the body in all respects. And then, but also, if we think of the subtle body, you know, first of all, people in general think they're the body. And so, you know, they're just interested in eating, sleeping, mating, recreating, they're not bothered about anything beyond that. That's general, isn't it? I had a friend, in 2007, I remember the year because my father left his body in that year. And when I was leaving, going to visit him, I was leaving the hospital in Rotherham, and I got in the car and somebody leant on the door and said, "Hello," you know, call me by the name I used to have. And I said, "You don't know me, do you?" And I couldn't recognise him. He said his name. It's Dave Roberts.
Dave Roberts.
Welshman. And we were talking. I said, "How are you doing then?" Because, you know, I wasn't new. The reason he actually leant against the door is so I couldn't get out. You know, he probably thought if I got out and people saw me like dressed like this, he'd never hear the end of it, you know. But anyway, he says, that's what you said, I'm going to retire, so I'm just going to eat myself to death. So it just emphasises that, you know, people see these things as the ultimate enjoyment. Sleeping as much as you can, having as much sex as you can, eating as much as you can. And so I thought I'd talk about these things a little bit. It's all due to body identification, and if we're a little bit more elevated, we may actually understand that, you know, we think with the mind or the intellect, and you get people like that, don't you? They're always talking in high language and speculating, and so, you know, these people all think they're the mind, so even that's going to be degrading. Or the intellect, but you know, a devotee sees beyond that, or learns to see beyond that. We don't necessarily identify with that for quite a while. Sometimes we identify with the body, or the mind, or the intelligence, And this is the cause of how many difficulties in devotional service. There's nothing to stop the soul serving Krishna. Nothing at all. I once before the deities, and I got some mercy. I just thought, all I have to do is serve Krishna. And I felt that that's all I had to do, you know. All the things that got in the way just disappeared. And I thought, what's the problem? And then when I came out, they all came back again. You know. So we have to deal with it. We have to deal with it. But ultimately, we can deal with it. We have to be determined, that's all. We're determined not to fall prey to these things. And life's actually blissful. That's when life's actually blissful. As soon as we start making the right decisions, Krishna tatastu, he blesses us with so much, you know, mercy. I think, I want some more of that, you know. You get a taste. And that's why we have to practice in the association of devotees, devotional service, so that book knowledge that we're learning starts to become actually realised, we actually experience. I think I mentioned this the other day, but Prabhupada asked his disciples, so are you all convinced? And they'll, you know, they know they couldn't bluff Prabhupada. We convinced Prabhupada. He says, then he asks them a question, he says, how do you know Krishna consciousness is real? And they knew they couldn't, you know, so nobody answered. And then tentatively they started quoting Shastra. And Prabhupada said, this is okay, but this is all theoretical. And then one devotee said, we feel Krishna. And Prabhupada said, this is it. We actually understand Krishna's working in our lives as soup soul. That's the first thing. There's something going off beyond our sphere of, you know, mental and intellectual and physical activities. Really, there's something, and everybody gets that realization that this is not a coincidence, you know. But then, you know, we can actually feel Krishna's presence at some point. So that's what keeps a devotee in devotional service, you know, the association of devotees and reciprocation with Krishna. And, you know, we get this with association of devotees, we're kept strong. We have to take that into association positively. And so there's nothing to stop us. Easy to talk, but that's a reality. And so let's deal with these three things. Look, you know, these are practical ways to deal. Or let's see the results of these things. Would anybody like to lust, anger, and greed? What about greed? Yeah? What's any stories about greed? I think I told this before, but I told this more. I told it actually at the Shastri course. And this person, he was like this sulking. So his friend asked him, he said, what's sulk? He says, you've just, you know, you've just, I know your father's died, but, you know, it's not to be so miserable, you know, he left you £10,000. And he says, that was a month, he said, and then the person was sulking, he said, well, the month after that, my cousin, he left me £100,000. He left his body. And so I said, well, what's the problem? You know? And then he said, and last month, you know, my brother-in-law, he left his body. He left me $500,000. And he says, so what are you sulking at? He says, nobody's died this month. So that's the way people think. You know, greed just breeds greed. You get more and you want more. You'll never be satisfied. So we have to get off that treadmill. You know, that's why all the scriptures tell us to reduce things to a minimum, and reduce your problems. If you've got nothing, nobody can take it away from you, can they? You know what I mean? And I'm an accumulator. Have we got any accumulators here? Here's the accumulator. No? Accumulators? You accumulate things?
Gathering loads of stuff.
Eh?
Hoarding, gathering.
Yeah. I find something, oh, that might come in use, you know, I find, you know, I open the cupboard and then as soon as I get rid of something, I need it, you know what I mean? So, you just think that, anyway, the thing is, there's one cricketer, anybody remember this, anybody like cricket?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
No?
My husband loves it.
He loves it, okay.
Like, he can
Should bring him in,
compromise his
bring him
skill.
in. Cricket. You like cricket?
It's a big thing in India, isn't it, cricket?
Eh?
Cricket's quite big in India, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't like cricket.
They're the fanatics in India.
Yeah.
They go from the cricket match to the temple. In Chowpatty, that's what they do. There was one famous cricket called Cronje. You remember him?
Yeah.
He was actually a South African.
Yeah.
And he was like a, what can you say, he was a maestro at cricket, even more than a maestro. He was just like a superstar, you know. I didn't know, I'd heard his name, and you know, because I don't watch the telly, but I'd seen some clippings on the television, and so I knew what he looked like. Then I saw one match and he was batting, and the ball, you know, he was trying to ball away from his strength. You know, some people are good on that side, you know, on the leg side. Some people are good on the off side. You know what I mean? So you have to ball in a way that, you know. So he must have been a little bit weak on his leg side. So this bowler, fast bowler, 90 miles an hour, he bowled it down his leg and he went and knocked it down the other side. You know, I thought, how did he do that? And then a little bit later on, I saw another clipping. I don't see a lot of clippings, but I saw this clip. And so it's Krishna conscious. And they were bowling, and they were batting, and you know, he was training them. And when the ball came at 90, they were just going like that, knocking it over the wicket keeper.
Yeah.
You know, and it was going for. This is something you just don't do, you know. So when somebody started talking about him, they were mentioning that he actually revolutionised the whole game, and he was taking he played for South Africa, and he was taking South Africa, they were like the tops. And one day he got reported taking the court for bribery.
Max fiction. Yeah, max fixing.
And you know, he was in India and he got bribed, and they found out, and his career was finished. And they interviewed him afterwards, and he said it's my own fault. He said I just wanted too much. He said I should have been satisfied with what I had. So that's the way for peace, isn't it? It's not. We want to get something to be satisfied. We just satisfy what we've already got. And that's not an easy thing sometimes, because we have desires and aspirations, don't we? And it can even be in devotional service. We have to be a little bit detached. Detachment's the key, isn't it? If we're detached, then we can function nicely. Then there's no problems. There were some other stories I heard about greed as well. One mother, she was a gambling, what do you call them? A gambling, when you're attached to gambling. Addict. And she was working at it, getting over, and she was driving with the kids, and she past this gambling casino, so she parked the car up, and she just thought I'd go in and have a little tipple on the GGs, you know, or whatever it were. And so she left the engine on and the kids in the car, and she was just going in for 10 minutes, and it finished to be 2 hours. And when she came back, you know, carbon monoxide had gone inside the car, killed the kids.
Is this a true story?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So, you know, this is not directly greed, it is greed, but something, you know, we never, if we're too greedy, we're never satisfied in any condition, nothing will satisfy us. There's lots of other stories but I can't remember. But this is the effects. What about, has anybody got any stories about greed? You have? Too much chocolate, right? Eh?
It's also
Don't speak a bit closer to my right.
Yes, they shout.
Shout.
it's also about a mother.
A lover,
A mother.
a brother,
A mother.
a mother.
And she had a daughter.
A daughter.
They lived away from the dad's house. One day, the mother said that she's leaving, getting something from
I
the
can't hear what you're
store.
saying. What's
So the mother said that she was getting something from the store, and she left. And she told the daughter to make food and don't waste any food. When she went, a sadhu came to her house and they asked her for food, and she remembered that her mother said don't waste food, but then she thought giving a sadhu food is not wasting food. When she gave it, her mother arrived on the same time. She saw and then said, no, stop feeding sadhu, you're wasting your food. And she was told to get out of the house. Then it was raining, so she went in a tree. She found a hollow area in the tree. 2 Rakshasas came, carried the tree to an area called Swarnadi, something like that. And then she went out, she wanted fresh air, and she saw sand.
saw what?
She saw sand.
Sand.
And she realized it wasn't sand, it was gold.
Huh?
So she got the gold, and the Rakshasas flew back to her home. She gave it to her mother. The mother said, that's not enough, I need more. Then she got 2 bags. She went in the same hollow, but this time the Rakshasas went to a different area, and she shouted out, no, go to Swarnadi. And the Rakshasas got the tree upside down and she fell down and died.
The Rakshasa what?
She died
Ah,
Because the Rakshasas killed her.
ah.
because she wanted more gold.
Really? You see, eh? That were more spiritual than my story, wasn't it? Has anybody else got any stories? Oh, another one. What's this about greed?
Yeah.
Go on then.
So
Shout up.
You have to shout really
there were
loud.
lots of frogs, and there was a frog king. a
Lots
frog
of frogs?
queen.
Frogs.
Frogs.
Frog.
And
There
a
was
frog
a
king.
frog king, a frog queen, and a prince frog. Then came an old snake.
Old snake?
Yeah. He wanted to. His favorite food was frogs. He tried to be smart, lay down, closed his eyes, acting to sleep or even die. So the frogs came, all surrounding him. The prince frog touched him, nothing happened. They touched him again and asked him what was going on. He
Yeah,
said,
touched too.
I've been cursed
snake.
by, and the snake lied that I've been cursed by a sadhu, that I can't eat frogs for my rest of the life and I have to serve them. And I said, go on then. snake's back and the snake got into the mother. So all of the frogs started riding the snake every day. Then the snake said, I need food and the frog said no. And then the snake on purpose went slow and the prince frog said, why is he not going fast? So the snake said, the royal mound needs food. And then
Who needs
the
food?
king frog said
Who
no.
needs food?
The snake needs food.
The snake.
So the mother frog said, the queen frog, she said that, oh, let the snake have some food. So the king frog then let him eat about 5 frogs every day. Then suddenly all his subjects were gone. And then the royal man said, I'm hungry again. And the king frog hid behind the rock because he knew he was going to eat them. Then the snake said, if your subjects are gone, I won't eat the royal mound. Carry me on the back. So the king, queen, and prince went on the back, and suddenly the snake jumped up and ate them.
Ah,
Oh.
crafty snake, eh? Okay. So we've got 2 more left. We've had greed, lust. So it's the beginning, isn't it? This is the first one. First one is thinking with the body. There's a nice verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhayam. Fear as soon as we think with the body, we become fearful. As soon as we think with anything to do with this subtle or gross body, we'll be fearful. So, how do we become free from fear? Engage in devotional service. So we need to take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, and by that engagement we'll overcome fear. I don't know any stories of fear. Lust, anger. I don't know any stories for anger. Oh, there is a story actually. Prabhupada told a story. He said there was a pot maker, and he got enough clay to make 1 pot. So he made a pot and sold it, you know. And then he got enough money to make 2 pots. And he started to dream about, you know, soon I'll be able to make 100 pots.
Yeah.
And then he said, then, you know, there's one particular person that he didn't like, who were always, and then I'll kick him, you know, and he kicked all the pots over. Broke them up. Prabhupada said. Lust, anger, greed. What about lust? Any stories for lust? Lust is not just sexual lust. It's anything, you know, we want to enjoy. It's described that that's lust for material enjoyment. Okay, we're going to stop there then, and we can have another kirtan some prashadana. Any questions on this? Yeah.
So, you said that lust, anger, and greed are kind of bad for devotional service. Does a person engage in devotional service, then lust, anger, and greed subsides, or does a person have to actively, combat them?
Both. Both, isn't it? By chanting, It's like, you know, we follow the principles. That's the personal effort, and we chant. So one's positive and one's avoiding, but by chanting, you get the strength to follow the principles. So they're both working together. But you know, we have to make the effort as well. You know, due to our conditioning, our mind becomes contaminated, and so you know, we have to actually be able to deal with that. You know what I mean? In a practical way. Either more chanting, or you know, distance ourselves from the sense object, or if we're more advanced, distancing itself is like, how do we sit in this world when sense gratification comes? This is in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. But we have to walk in the world, we have to deal with things. So this is more advanced. When we're in the way it's described that we do it, we see everything as Krishna's energy, and we see that this is we you know, we contemplate this is just whatever we're attached to. This is just a fragment of Krishna's opulence or beauty. But ultimately, the chanting is the real key, the real anchor. If we won't be able to do anything unless we chant. I'll tell you a verse here, look, in the second chapter. Is it second or third? Third chapter. Talking about lust at the end of the third chapter. Here we are. Indriyani paranyahur indriyabhya paramanaha manasastu parabudhiryo ude paratastusa. Says, the working senses are superior to dull matter, and mind is higher than the senses, and the intelligence is still higher than the mind, and he, the soul, is even higher than the intelligence. So it says that if we engage by intelligence, if we engage directly in the activity of the soul, it solves the whole problem of the devotional service, right? That we don't, you know, get influenced by the mind. But by intelligence, we always, and intelligence is sharpened by knowledge, we always engage in devotional service, then we won't get dragged away. It says that seems to solve the whole problem. It says, but there's always a chance of falling down to the sense objects due to a lack of spiritual strength. So in other words, here's the chanting, especially. We get strength from reading the books, from associating with devotees, from following the process, but the real strength is coming from chanting the Maha Mantra. So it says, so we should be strong in Krishna consciousness by contact with Krishna. So that's what Prabhupada said, we should always be chanting the holy name. And that will give us enough strength. And then we can make the effort to, deal with any sense objects or anything which comes in the mind. Yeah?
Do you still lust, Maharaj, yourself?
Eh?
Do you still lust for things?
Lust. It comes in the mind. So, I usually find that it happens when I'm a little bit not engaged. If I've got things to do, I'm always engaged, then it's not a problem. But as soon as, I get into I seem to notice that we're into a little bit of limbo. It's like that.
And one can lead to the other, can't it? Lust goes to anger if you're not receiving. If you're lusting to say.
Yeah, they're all interrelated.
Anger comes from lust.
Yeah.
You're not receiving.
Yeah, that's in the
Yeah.
second chapter, isn't it? Jayato, right, contemplating the objects of the senses, we develop an desire to enjoy them. And then when we enjoy them, we're not satisfied. So two things happen. We become greedy for more, or we become angry when it's not working. So it increases anger and greed. You know, when we're chanting, we should be, in the beginning, it may be mechanical, you know, a little bit mechanical. Prabhupada, we're just chanting here. What's the problem, he said? This is what he said. You know, Prabhupada, I get so much trouble with the mind when I'm chanting. And Prabhupada said, what's the problem? You're just chanting here. You're just chanting here. What's the problem with the mind? What's the mind got to do with it? So, you know, that's what we have to do. We have to hear the mantra. If you hear Prabhupada chanting, you know, when he's chanting, it's perfect. Every syllable.
Yeah.
You know, he chants slowly, then he builds up, and he builds up. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You know, I can hear it from the Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. There's not a blemish, and he's chanting like that, and it builds up faster. So we have to be like that. It may take time, but we'll have to come back and start. You know, we may start going into the gibber section again because we go too fast. But rest assured, it won't satisfy us, and we'll have to come back again and start chanting. That's my experience anyway. Some devotees may be good chanters. Yeah, chanting. So we chant nicely. If we chant nicely, and chant quality rounds, 16 rounds is enough. If we actually chant 16 quality attentive rounds, we'll be floating. We'll be floating, you know. Impervious, is that the word? It's a prophylactic. Remember we were talking about prophylactics? You know, does anybody know what a prophylactic is? Are you a doctor?
No.
No? That's it. Prophylactic, it means, I used to be in the electrical trade, and they used to call it prophylactic covering on the cable. It's a protection. It protects the cable from being touched and from damage. So chanting's like that, it immunises, or it's like a vaccine, it immunises from effects of Maya. And otherwise, we need an antiseptic. We get contaminated. Then we need an antiseptic. What's that antiseptic? Chanting. Same. That's the key. That's what Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya asked. He was a Mayavadi, and by Lord Chaitanya's mercy, he preached to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and he eventually became a devotee. He actually was a devotee, but that's a long story. But he'd been covered by Maya to become a Mayavadi, so this pastime could take place. And when as soon as he became a devotee, he asked Lord Chaitanya, what's the most important process of devotional service? And Lord Chaitanya said, chanting the holy name. In fact, the holy name is the avatar for this age. It's not Lord Chaitanya. He's a Chana avatar, he's covered. It's the, Nam Rupe, Nam means name, Rupe means form of the name. And the form of the Nam Rupe avatar, the form of the avatar in the age of Kali is Nam. Nam Rupe avatar Namrupi, Krishna avatar. Kali. In the age of Kali, Kali means age, Kali means age of Kali. Kali Nam Rupe Krishna avatar. And it says that Nam Hoiti Haya Sava Jagat Nistar. It says if we chant the holy name of the Lord, we'll be delivered.
What's the difference between kirtan chanting and chanting on the beads?
Well, I mean, we can't. Kirtan is more powerful because we're chanting all together, and we feel the effects like anything, don't we? If we have a good kirtan for half an hour, we'll feel, you know. But you know, the staple diet is japa. That has to be a stable basis for everything. If we chant good japa, if we're having any problems, all we have to do is that first thing we analyse. You know, if you're an engineer, you know what to analyse first. So we're all spiritual engineers. So first thing we have to analyse is what's the state of my rounds? First of all, am I chanting 16 rounds? Yeah, tick that box. What's the quality? You know. Well, it's not so good. Well, that's it. That's it. It's imperceptible. Unless we're actually on the ball, we'll think it's something else. We'll start to think, you know, maybe, you know, this process, it's not that good, you know. Start thinking like that.
I feel like I wing it a bit because I love to chant for Krishna every day. I sing, I'm listening, I'm singing, but to get on my beats, Maharaj, is so hard for me with my mental, just me, where I am all my life, I've struggled.
What do you think the mental thing is?
It's like all the best ideas.
All the best?
All the best ideas will come in mind while chanting. So mind starts thinking about them.
All ideas come in the mind when you start chanting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what it is, they're already in the mind. But when we start chanting, we realise they're there. You know what I mean? A person who's not chanting, we just get, we've been tossed to enjoy one thing, this, that. We've been taken around the universe, you know, by the mind. And then when we start chanting, we realise it. You know what I mean? We recognise the mind's, you know, he's the culprit.
See, so you're not saying the stuff's just coming up. He's saying it's already there. It's just when you chant, you realise you can see it.
Yeah.
You connect to it almost, yeah. So for me, it's easier to sing it, Maharaj, for me. I love kirtan, but to get my beads, it's just I'm more mental. When I sing, there's no mentalness. When I'm on my beads, it's really mental.
I think that's the same for everyone.
Yeah, because when we do kirtan, our senses are involved.
I guess
So it's easier.
and when you do japa, you have to face it, don't you? You
Like
can't
looking in the
hide
mirror,
from
you're
it.
looking in the
And
mirror
so I
a bit.
think you know, there's probably part of you that's like, I don't want to face, not you, but anyone in
No, it
general.
is.
Like,
I
I don't want to face it. So, you know.
It's like a value decision, isn't it? I see this is more valuable than that. Whatever I'm doing, I don't give this enough value to override that.
I've got some books by Mahatma Das. They're called Japa Meditation. Yeah.
So I've got that affirmation.
affirmation.
Yeah, it's a really nice book.
And I found, I didn't think, I thought, I've been chanting for 40 years, you know, what do I want to read one of them for? When I read it, it helped.
Yeah.
You know, it's simple things what we know we should do, but we just get into a mundane vision and, you know, we don't realise what we've got. You know what I mean? We don't realise what we've got.
These are like, there's that analogy, isn't there, like a garden and weeds grow up. And I guess these are the weeds, aren't they? That are stopping the fructification of back to, these are the weeds that come up and you have to kind of weed.
No,
Yeah.
it's coming up. I wish it was easier.
Anyway, the thing is, if you find somebody maybe to chant with and give you a bit of, you know, inspiration and strength, And-
6 o'clock every morning. You know, it's come online.
Is that what it is? Yeah, 6.
We do a thing at 6 o'clock.
Could have been doing that recently as well.
3.5 years it's been going on.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it's difficult to start a thing. But once you get it started,
Get the taste.
it's actually it becomes a habit. You just naturally start to do it. Oh, this is the time I chant. And yeah, we have to get a taste. That's the thing. It's a yogya, isn't it? It's called us. Every age has got its different sacrifice that we have to make in order to make the advancement. So that's our sacrifice. Is to you know, that's showing Krishna that we're sincere. We're prepared to put time aside for him. And then when we start chanting, we have to start putting our mind aside for him. You know what I mean? And I know some devotees in Georgia, you know, they're pretty slow at taking things up, they're pretty laid back. And but one of them used to chant, he used to chant 4 rounds, something like that, but they were all spot on. And he did that for about, I thought, when's he going to actually start picking up, you know? Then eventually, after about a year, he started chanting 8 or something like that. And then after about 3 years, he started chanting 12, you know? But they're all spot on. And now he's chanting like anything. You know, because he's been chanting properly all the way through.
Get the taste.
You know, he's got the taste. So it's like that. You just chant 1 round really good. If you do that every day, first thing to do is you have to make time for it. If you don't have a slot for it, you'll never do it. You have to make a slot in the day and just do it at that slot. And then you just get into the... And that slot's best in the morning because you haven't even started doing anything at that time.
The modes are better in the morning as well, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. If you do a round a day and you really work at it, you'll get a taste. And then it'll not be so much of an effort after. They say it takes about a month to develop a habit. Is that right? I heard that. 40 days or something.
40 days to break a habit, 40, yeah. 8 to habit.
What else is there to do, you know? Nothing else to do. We're not getting any younger, are we? You know what I mean?
No, it's weird because I feel enthusiastic to Krishna, but I'm always like, beat yourself. Why can't I chant? And when I chant, it is so crazy up here. It's really hard to get through it.
Are you comparing yourself to others?
No, I don't think I am.
Oh.
Just listening to my own mind, like when I'm doing it, it's chaos, absolute chaos. But when I sing, it feels wow.
I just sing for half an hour and then
Yeah.
Like Arjuna said though, didn't it, to Krishna, that trying to control the mind is more difficult than trying to control the wind.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's Arjuna, I mean, so we're going to bound find it difficult sometimes.
You can chant around together if you want. Yeah?
Yeah.
And we'll take a shot. Okay, get your beads out.
I think it's man's in the car.
I'll just follow everyone else.
Okay.